This video is for your first navigation exercise in AER 110 for Sand Hills Community College. For this exercise, you will plan a short cross country from Moore County Airport, KSOP, to Florence Regional, KFLO, South Carolina. Your route will be from SOP to the Sand Hills VOR and then direct to Florence. You'll need your Charlotte sectional, your nav plotter, and your E6B. So right here is your Charlotte sectional, your nav plotter, and your E6B. We'll break this video lesson into two parts. The first part will contain plotting your courses and your headings and your distances on your Charlotte sectional using your tools. And then the second part will be actually filling out your nav logs. What I'll have you do is follow along to fill out the first nav log, and then you'll do the return trip. And to turn in for this final lesson, I will want you to turn in both nav logs for the trip down and for the return trip from Florence back to Moore County. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is draw your course lines and determine your true headings for each leg with your nav plotter. Take note of the headings, but don't record any data on your log. You can use your plotter then to measure your distance in nautical miles from each leg from your departure point to your destination point using your chosen route. Do the same for your return trip. Note the distances, but don't record anything on your nav log yet. We're going to use our nav plotter and our Charlotte sectional to draw out our courses that we're going to fly for this flight from Moore County Airport down to Florence. The nav plotter is great. I did a video on plotting courses and headings a little bit earlier. You can go back and look at that. But just as a review, the nav plotter has the nautical mile scale for a 1 to 500,000 sectional on the outside, statute miles on the inside. The center scale here is for a terminal area chart, which has a scale of 1 to 250. So it's got a little bit larger scale. So you can do the distances on the top and the bottom in nautical miles. And then, of course, for your headings, you've got your compass headings here on the curve part of the plotter. Okay, so to plot our course, we're going to go from Moore County Airport to the VOR, and then straight down here, it's a little bit off the map, but that's okay, to Florence, which is just off the map to the south. So first thing we're going to do is draw our lines, which we did right here. We've got a line there, and then the line to Florence goes right here. And I've drawn the lines with a pencil to make sure we've got it on the chart. And then you can use this in the airplane as well. To figure out my first heading, I can again use my plotter, and I'll put a line, and it doesn't matter which one, any line that's parallel on the plotter on your course line. And then you take your center grommet right here and place it on one of your north-south longitude lines. So I've got right there, and I put, here's my north-south line. It's actually my 80 degree longitude line. And I know if I'm going this direction, I'm going 090. If I'm going this direction, I'm going 180. If I'm going this direction, I'm going 270. And this to the north would be 36 or 000. So roughly I know going from the airport to the VOR, I'm roughly going 270 or very close to it to the west. So what I'll do is I'll look down here on my plotter, and it plots at 265. It's directly between 260 and 270 west. And so the line runs right through 265. So my first course line from the airport to the VOR is 265. Then to plot my course line here, on the course line from the VOR down to Florence, which is just off the chart, but that's okay. We can use any of the vertical lines once again. Find a vertical line to put your grommet on, and you can do it this way. There's a vertical line right here, and you can do it right here to make sure you can use the inside scale that's vertical. And now I've got the grommet on that vertical line right there. There it is right there, and I've got my course line parallel there, and I look straight down and I'm at, there's 190. I know I'm in between a little bit more than 180 because I'm a little bit west of south, so I'm right there at 190, 194, 195, right in that particular area right there. There's 195 right there. 190, 195. Okay. All right. So we're about 195 is your headings. Now for your distances, there's two ways to do this. You could get a card and you could measure the distance and mark it on the card right here. And then remembering that your north-south lines right there are 1 nautical mile, so you could just count it right off. So the distance between Moore County Airport and the VOR is about 10 miles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can do it like that, remembering that the vertical lines are, each tick mark is 1 nautical mile, or you can use the scale on your plotter here, and you can see right there, again, about 10 nautical miles on the outside scale there. Okay. So that's how you do your distances, and now you want to do your distances between Moore County Airport and the VOR, and then from the VOR all the way down to just off the chart here where Florence is. Now, once you do that and you've got it all set, the last thing you want to do is you want to pick your VFR checkpoints along the route, and you want to see what kind of air space that you're flying through. Okay, so when I come over here and I look, I say, all right, no huge airspace here, and then I take the turn down towards Florence, and I say, what would be a good VFR checkpoint between 15 and 20 miles? And you can see right here I've highlighted, okay, Richmond County Raceway, all right, or Richmond Raceway right here. I mean, that's perfect. You're going to see that from the air all day long, and you want to pick something that's just a little bit left or right of your course, because, you know, if you've picked something right under the nose, it's going to go under the nose and you're going to miss it. So you want it off to a little bit to the left or to the right of your course line. So, and of course, you want to keep the raceway just off your left wing, just a tiny bit. My next one I highlighted was down here at Bennettsville. Okay, you'll see the town. You may see a water tower that says Bennettsville on it, and you'll also see the airport off your right wing. So when you come abeam of the airport, you know you're in the right place. And that's about 20 miles apart. Next, I marked, but I'm not going to put it on my log, there's a bridge right here over the river, just to the left of my course. And then I'm going to cross a highway right here, which is actually 5 miles away, so from the airport. So I'm going to move this up just a little bit so you can see. There you go. Let's find Florence. There, right there at the bottom. Okay, you can see Florence right there. And right here, where my pencil point is almost exactly 5 miles. Now, the Florence, when you look on your chart, Florence Airport has a dashed blue line all the way around it. That means it has a control tower. So you know when you hit about the 5 mile point that you've got to call Florence Tower. So where the interstate crosses, you know that's going to be your descent point as well. So you're going to descend from your altitude down to the airport altitude. You want to be about 1,000 feet above the airport for your descent. So that is another checkpoint that we'll put on the nav log. Now on our return trip, okay, we come here, right there's the VOR, and then we're going to go straight up here, this line right here, and we're looking for VFR checkpoints along the way. There's a little crop dusting field here. There's a closed airfield here. McCall is right here. We'll pull this back down where you can see McCall. Now, McCall is also a controlled airport, and so if you were within their airspace, you're going to have to give them a call. But we're not. What you'll see on your chart, there's a little square box here that says 29. When we go from Florence back up to Moore County, we'll probably be at 3,500 feet, because you have to travel when you're going to the east at odd plus 500 feet. So when we go from Moore County to Florence, we will probably go at 2,500 feet. Now, how do I know that? I'm going to look at, as we're going right here, that's our highest obstacle in that particular block. So that's 1,000 feet. Up here a little bit, there's another block. I'm going to pull it down a little bit, which says, and you can find it on your chart, 1,300 feet. So those are the highest obstacles in those particular blocks. So we're going to want to be at least 2,000 feet, so 1,000 feet above the highest obstacle, plus 500 feet. So that's why we're going to choose going to the west, an even number, 2,000, and then you have to go plus 500. So our chosen altitude, if we can do it with the weather, is going to be 2,500 feet going from Moore County Airport down to Florence. Okay. Our chosen altitude going from Florence back up to Moore County will be 3,500 feet. So again, if you see the box here, right there, okay, that says 2,900 feet is the top of that Class D airspace, or that air traffic pattern here for, or the control tower space for McCall. So you'll actually, at 3,500, you'll be above it. You don't have to call them. Things to watch out for: you've got a restricted area up here. You want to stay out of that thing. Other types of airspace, there's really not much more. So other things just to take note of is and we'll do this when we get on the flight log, is your frequencies for your airports, your flight service station. Up here you're at Raleigh Flight Service. When you get down towards Florence, you're at actually Anderson Flight Service. So you want, and the frequencies are on your chart. So that's how you do your headings. Now that you've got your headings and your distances written down, and you want to go ahead and use your plotter to get your distance from here to this VOR point, or VFR point, the distance here and the distance here, and just write them down on a piece of paper, and then we'll be ready to do our nav log. Okay, so the next video will be the nav log to do our the rest of the navigation exercise.